Hi, I'm Cersei.
And I'm Angel.
And you're watching Twincast.
Today we'll be discussing the Taiwanese supernatural horror drama called Detention. It premiered on Netflix December 5th, 2020. Thank you so much for the 50 subs. Yay!
Thank you. The show was based off a 2017 horror adventure game that was set in a period of martial law known as White Terror, a period of political repression in Taiwan.
Spoiler warning. Often in horror films, the story starts with an on-the-road journey, and something happens like a car crash or some type of camera movement to symbolize that the protagonist is crossing the threshold. The world is about to be turned upside down, and they are entering new and unfamiliar territory. In this universe, they go through a tunnel, and our protagonist experiences a PTSD episode. So we're introduced to the fear that she will be forced to face and work through in this series. Light colors to note that this is before the horror they are to encounter and has yet to taint them. Single parents is also a common story device in the horror genre to reflect parental anxieties, as well as moving into a new home. This creates isolation for the characters to elevate fear. There is a lot of thought that is put into the framing and symbolism throughout the episode. This screen division shows a split between the characters and the world. Here, she holds George Orwell's novel 1984, which is known for its controversial social-political themes as well as sexual content. This picture reminds her of happier times. The fact that the puzzle is no accident. It emphasizes that her reflection is on a time in her life when her family was still together. The happy memory is immediately replaced with a traumatic memory of her mother slapping her. It's almost as if she's punishing herself for having a happy memory. Mirrors are a repeated story device in this episode, as she refuses to look into the mirror and even goes as far as covering the one in her bedroom, denying the call to adventure, and this clip from the trailer shows she's going down that rabbit hole. She takes medication multiple times a day, which is a form of control and suppression. The headband her mother places on her head is almost like a collar, which she removes later in the episode when she feels the breathing room to do so. It's clear as she arrives to her new school that she just doesn't fit in within the machine. She decides to break into an abandoned building near her school to smoke. The building has been barricaded for 3 decades because of a girl's suicide. While on the roof, she bonds with her class rebel, and they connect as school outcasts. The guy steals money from a Buddhist temple as if trying to beat the system. He also has his paranoid uncle, resembling the paranoia of political oppression. While chatting, they witness a school peer commit suicide by jumping off the roof. The student says, "I can no longer remember who I once was." This is a metaphor for Taiwan's loss of identity during the White Terror. She hesitates to leave the scene as if fascinated by the girl's found freedom. She ends up getting punished, and she has to wear this badge that says devil. This conditioning in society that if you step outside the machine, you are evil. She later returns to the building to retrieve her medicine bottle she accidentally dropped while fleeing the scene. She gets locked into a bathroom stall, and the ghost of the girl who committed suicide 3 decades earlier refuses to let her out unless they make a deal. The ghost questions her if she's sure she wants to return to her oppressed life. Still bitter from being beaten by her instructor in front of the class, our protagonist admits that she wouldn't really want to see her teacher again. In the moment, she more or less strikes a deal with the devil, unaware that she is doing so. I feel every time this character physically ascends in this episode, it reflects her evolving her awareness. Her room is upstairs. Her school involves a set of steps. The abandoned building is elevated over her school, and she finds breathing room finally at the rooftop of this abandoned building.
What I really liked about the game Detention is that they took a unique story and history, culture, religion, mythology, and they blended it together and they presented it in a really unique way. I know such thing would be hard to present in a TV series. You couldn't really stretch it out. You would have to make your own story. So this was kind of its own thing. I really want to see the movie because I feel like that would be more related to the game. For the first episode, I thought they did a great job. The performances were good. It's kind of hard to tell because it was a slow building episode until like the last 15-20 minutes is when it started getting more suspenseful, more dramaful, more interesting. But the last few seconds kind of gave me a ghost slasher vibe, so I'm not really sure what to expect for future episodes. The only plotty part besides the end was this side characters, which we never got to really explore. I know it's only the first episode. This guy who was super paranoid felt like he was being watched, but we don't know if it's government related or if it's like ghost related. I don't know. It did a great job depicting the harsh times, cultural revolution, you know, students still being repressed, literature being censored. It made me uncomfortable to watch and made me appreciate our freedom, you know, the little things. I did enjoy the paranormal parts of it. Very spooky. The paranormal aspect is my most favorite. Definitely worth the watch. It has potential and curious how they're gonna do the rest of this series. I don't think they're gonna be able to follow the game story.